Hello, 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 everyone. This is Keisha. Welcome to the 3-day Master Live, our mini masterclass in Genesis, where we learn the secrets to self love. And before we begin, I am your vibrational healing coach. My name is Keisha Martin, and I welcome all of you who watch this video and are connecting with me live or via the replay. Okay, please be sure to say hello and where you're coming in from. I love to know who you are, how you found me, and how we're connected. Okay. And as we begin, I'm going to give a couple minutes for some folks to arrive. But as we begin, I want us to start with an exercise where we're connecting from our heart space, and we're allowing the energies within us to connect through love and of a positive vibration. I feel it essential that when we're learning, especially when we are feeding our spirit, that we are connecting at that from the highest source, that we're connecting within with our higher selves, and that we're allowing only what's connected to source, God. I use source and God very interchangeably, um, to be allowed in. Okay. And how you'll do this, I want you to just close your eyes. Okay. Depending on your experience level with meditation, I want you to close your eyes and connect and visualize and connect with the energies through right from your heart. You can just visualize anyone that may watch this video, anyone who's connected to us right now, and just visualize all of us connecting together in a circle. And as you take your inhalations, I would like you to expand your abdomen. So as you inhale, expand your abdomen, and as you exhale, contract. Okay? So you inhale once again, and as you take your deep breath, exhale. And just allow yourself to connect from within. And allow your heart space to open up and connect with everyone and anyone here, giving and receiving love in its highest and purest form. And as you're doing this, just observe. Observe how you're feeling. Try not to allow your mind to think, but allow yourself to connect and feel intuitively, just like if you stepped outside and you feel the temperature's warm or cool. Feel physically what you are sensing, whether it's heat, coolness. Tingling. And just absorb the warmness, the energy, and the connectivity to give you that broader awareness. Okay? And as you're protecting your space and your energy, allow yourself to connect with any energy or anyone that may be in need of love anywhere in the world. And just connect from your heart space, filling yourself with gratitude and sending this love and this light energy from here to your local area, throughout your county, throughout your state, across the US, and around the world. And just breathe in, taking your deep inhalations as you breathe in the high love frequency from your higher self, and allowing yourself to express and feel the gratitude and the love and the peace given through your higher self and connected through the divinity. So this is how we're going to start our sessions. I want us to be able to start practicing, and I do this so you can start practicing and connectivity through meditation, through breath, um, and sending the energy by becoming mind, body, present, aware in your daily practice. So, hi, I see a couple folks have come in, and it's okay if you've been late. Hopefully, you can still feel, depending on where you came in, the energy and connecting to the heart space. Thank you. And I find it so important when you're doing and you're connecting for yourself and you're doing anything for you that we align ourselves with our highest level of truth. It's so easy for our minds to take hold and allow the negative self-talk to tear us away from our inner truth and our inner being and be wrestled in our emotions throughout the day, just believing something that doesn't connect us to source. And it sets the foundation for where we want to go, and allow yourself to feel. And I hope you have, I would advise as you're doing these sessions with me to grab a pad of paper and pen, or have a note screen open on your laptop or phone, so that way you can be able to jot down a couple things that are going to come through for you. Because as we do this energy work, you will receive downloads. You are a genius and a divine being within yourself, and things have been pulled away from you where you are lost in the world ideas of following other folks. I have also been there, and I can get there in any day, just by being disconnected. And I want to embrace this energetic space that we're in, and things that come to you freely. Be free to write that down, because this is where your inner spirit, your inner soul is. When we have the negative self-talk, it's when we're away from our spirit. That's when our physical signs show anxiety, where we start to worry if something's going to happen, why it's not happening quick enough, why things are coming to us in a negative state. And then we can end up in a level of depression, not wanting to move, and then we get stuck. And when we get stuck, it's when we have finally decided to stop moving, whether it's a fear or an idea that was given to us in my mind, in our minds, that we're not good enough. Now I feel that though my spirit doesn't want me to speak about negative things, so we're going to continue on the positive lights. Okay, so when I'm stammering, I'm noticing that that's not the way I'm supposed to go. But for us to breathe in the love and the things that we want in our life in regards to health and wellness, our business and finance, our family and relationships, and our spiritual being, how we feel now, and I would like you to comment, let me know how you're feeling. Um, the lighter you feel is the more connected you are to your higher self and source. And this is your true inner being. If you don't feel tired, okay, so if you don't feel light on the inside, even if you feel tired, then I suggest you continue to practice this on your own. So the next 3 days will help with doing that. Oh, good. So you feel good on the inside. Awesome. Awesome. Good. So it takes a bit of practice. It took me a bit of practice, but I'm going to introduce this because I know that you feel relaxed. Awesome. That's the state. We want us to feel connected because when we're relaxed, we're closer to our spirit. We're closer to the energy and the feeling inside of us. And I'm going to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Keisha Martin, and some of you are meeting me for the first time. I have heard that. So I just read Bria. She says she's feeling too relaxed. She might have to lay down after. Now, after I explain who I am, I'm gonna touch on that because actually I do it now. So it's actually a good thing. If you watch this video or we have any sessions, or you're meditating on your own, anytime you're connecting on that deeper level, um, and you get tired and you're doing the meditation. Some people ask me questions that if I fall asleep, did I miss the meditation? Because of the type of energy that I am, that runs through me, I've decided to be this vessel. Um, Things can get activated within yourself. So once you connect, things that you've been wanting is going to start downloading, and that's where the fatigue will kick in also. So there's times you might sleep for hours and wake up feeling like a genius the next day. I've done it. So, and it's a good thing, you know. So it's when we can't heal because our conscious mind gets in the way of things. What our conscious mind blocks, our subconscious mind will allow. So the healing will happen in your sleep. Pretty much, you'll wake up smart. You know, you'll feel great, and some of the things that's been stopping you will actually kind of be gone. And how my energy also works is you'll also feel some things might actually feel forgotten, like it never existed. So it's almost like you switched or you jumped the timeline. All right. So I don't want to go too far ahead, but the energies that are there that are present beyond what we can see, it's a real thing, you know. And as a vibrational healing coach, my name is Keisha Martin. I'm a vibrational healing coach, and I've been on my own mission for about 20 years. Well, it started 20 years ago. It started 20 years ago when I had questions and I had an experience that led me to this. So I didn't like wake up one day and decided I wanted to be a coach. I actually kind of fought being a coach. I was happy in graphic design land. I was happy as a photographer. And I am happy here, very much so. But I had some fear to overcome to arrive to where I am. And I had a lot of shadow work and going within and working on myself throughout the years. And it's been a journey. And the experience that started me happened when I had one daughter, and it was started with a dream. And in this dream, I was walking in this city, going down. This is before we even met, Bree. And I was walking down this. I was in the city, and there was like people like dealing drugs, and there was like prostitute hookers and things, all kinds of activity going on my right side. And then on the opposite side, my left, there was a line of folks to line up into this building. And the building was shaking as the music was playing, and it looked like red. And these folks were all lined up to go in there. And the sidewalk that they were standing on was like 12 by 12. All right, so 12 feet by 12 feet. They were big. It was like a lot bigger than normal sidewalks. And they were all lined up to go in. And as I'm walking down the sidewalk towards the building, there was like this opening between each cement block. And it was about 12 inches wide. And inside, as I looked down, I could see these souls. And it went like down to like infinity, you know, and they were like screaming. It's like weird, you know? So I went inside the building, and at the time I was working at a bank, and I saw a lot of my old coworkers, you know, and they're like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Oh," and then I walked around, and I seen a bunch of them there, and then I left. And when I walked out, I still saw the same thing. And no one seemed to notice that the cracks had these things going on inside of it except me. And the dream felt very real. It felt like a very real experience, you know. And then as I'm walking up, I see this door opened, and it looked like my daughter's bedroom at the time. And I walk in, and when I walk in, I see this doll that looks like how they draw Jesus. And as I see him, he's crying, and I go pick him up, and I hear my daughter. So she's like 2 at the time. I turn around to go pick her up, and I like fly up into the air. And as I do that, I don't remember the details now, but back then I did. So I saw like these tall 2 beings with these multiple wings and things like that. And I was like, wow, what is this? And there was a lot of information. The person was talking to me, felt like forever. And then they opened everything up, and then they showed me where I was just at, and they threw me back down there. And when I woke up, I had a daughter and this guy in the bed, and I had no idea who they were. I, like, jumped out of the bed, like freaked out, wondering who on earth these people are. And it took me a moment for me to kind of get my head together and like fast forward to where I was in life. And the whole experience threw me off for the whole entire day. So I go to school that night. I was taking evening classes, and my partners were like, Keisha, what on earth is wrong with you? You're out of it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm telling them, and they were like, it sounds like you had a really prophetic moment. And I was like, I guess. And they were telling me to go talk to my pastor and blah, 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 and to leave a Bible open, which I did. But it was always on Psalms. So when we were going over the story, I was like, the weird thing was my glasses were on there. So long story short, I'd look on the Bible when I get home, like she told me to. I went and talked to the pastor too about things. And what I found was that it wasn't on Psalms the way it normally is, but it was actually on Ephesians, which is 6 and 7, Isaiah's vision. And as I sat and read it, and at the time I remembered what was told to me, I was just like, whoa. And so for me, the insight came back then, and the fear of believing that I'm supposed to do something jumped in. And of course, I'm like, I don't do, I don't know what all that is. But I continued on the journey personally, And I say this because the talks that we can have in our minds about where we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to do, is a real deal thing, and it can hold you up, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 20 years in your life. It's not like, and then you can start to wonder. So like Lisa Nichols said it best. She was like, the more successful you are, the more self-talks that you have, and what I've learned is that in society, we've been conditioned to believe that you're successful because of financial, and so basically, if you're making money, you're supposed to, society has had a gauge that money dictates how successful a person is. Where in these teachings, what I want you to embrace is how beautiful you are in all aspects of your life. Like if we take a look at, I like analogies, so I'm going to use analogies a lot with things. So for example, let's say we have health and wellness, business and finance, family and relationships, and spirituality, all right? And we're going to use health and wellness like our science class. We're going to take business and finance like our English. Family and relationships, we'll make that history, and spiritual, we'll make it math. Okay. All right. So those are our 4 subjects. And if you look at English, history, science, and math, how would you grade yourself in each of these topics? Were you getting an A? Are you getting a C? Are you getting an F? And it takes the pressure off of just putting your neck on the line, because our negative self-talk is real. Like we have this thing in our minds, like we feel as though Mary and Joseph was our parents, and we're now Jesus. And I have to remind myself, I'm like, no, my parents' name is Norma and Kurt. It's not Mary and Joseph. Like, relax. It's not that serious. And um, it's a fun way I do to kind of learn to to not encourage the negative self-talk, the mental side of things. But when you look at things in your life, you can say, all right, well, maybe the financial isn't where I want it to be. Maybe I'm getting a C or a D there. But in regards to your mindset, your spiritual being, your well-being, in regards to your family and your relationships, how you connect with others, you might be excelling and getting an A. You know what I mean? And then you can say, all right, I am abundant in my life. It's not something I have to self talk and approve myself. And um, we don't have to self-talk and approve ourselves for it. And what I mean by that is there's a conditioning because of the financial thing, because people have the finance as a big thing in society. This is just a societal thing. Like, we see stars, if they're a superstar and they're doing great, everybody's like, oh. And if they fall or if they commit suicide or something bad happens, everybody's like, oh my God. So society has conditioned us to believe that because you have wealth, that you have this. And in actuality, abundance comes in so many different ways. That the wealthy man, I reference to the Bible too. So when they say that the who can get into the kingdom, it won't be like the wealthiest and richest, but it'll be the wealthiest and other things, So I use these references because I want you to understand the key concept, not necessarily every detail of that story, because your abundance within yourself and the things that you have to give, the trials and tribulations that you have been through, are all things that have shaped you in your life to bring you to where you are today. And if it wasn't for some of the things that you have gone through, where would you be now? That it's easy right now for us to look at the things that we have gone through and use them as markers, as negative self-talks, to not move forward because I did this, I did that, I did X, I did Y, I did Z. Maybe I sold drugs, maybe I smoked, or maybe I've hurt too many people emotionally, or I've lost too many folks in my life. And we now like gave ourselves that scarlet letter and have a hard time allowing ourselves to forgive and move forward versus looking at the experiences. Okay. I went through a divorce, and I swear to God, that man gave me the Encyclopedia Britannica on how to forgive, because it was always something new. I'm like, good grief, what else more do I have to learn? And the lesson for me was learning how to not be so reactive, because back then I was reactive, and learning to, after forgiving him, one of the biggest people I forgot to forgive was myself, like forgiving myself in those actions. And when we don't forgive ourselves, we live in a level of condemnation, and we live in regret. We constantly look back to past experiences. We trigger the amygdala in our brain, and we constantly look for the fear of flight things that will signal us to stop. Don't do that. That's going to make us uncomfortable. And then we don't take action. And when we don't take action, we don't move. And then when we don't move, we stay stagnant. And when we're stagnant, we allow ourselves to believe, we go back in that cycle again. Okay. And when we work in the world of energy and we work in the world of the universe, everything is fluid and it has to stay moving, even when you don't want to move. And one of the advices that I tell myself is you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And the ways that I do this is by conditioning my life. And I started with the morning routine. And this is the framework that I wanted to teach today, is because as a creative being, I'm left-handed, I'm all creative, right brain person. And Don't see the lines, don't think rules apply. Like that's just how the free spirit mind works, you know? And so seeing a calendar, seeing all these rigid lines, having all this structure can like really stress someone out like myself, you know? But I realized having that framework is essential for me to duplicate my energy, duplicate productivity, and be consistent in my life. And it was a learning curve that I had to embrace, but the benefits of doing it far outweighed it. And then there's times, and I believe Bria and I, we've already discussed some of these things in regards to the routine, is watching how your day transitions quickly from like completely in a rut going bad to the very next day when you follow your routine and having a really good day. So what I've found is you're having that consistency and understanding energy, okay? Because when you understand how your body moves throughout the day, it's easier for you to go in that pattern. Um, so it's easier for you to go in that pattern. It's easy for us to have the negative self-talk and condemn yourself for wanting to take a nap at a certain time of the day. It's easy for us to beat ourselves up and say, oh no, I shouldn't have this to eat because it's not good for me. I shouldn't drink coffee, or I shouldn't eat this chocolate, or I shouldn't eat these sweets, or I shouldn't do this. And then the word should and shouldn't becomes this big play in your life, telling you what you can and can't do. And what happens is you start to stress and you're moving away from your spirit. And you miss your natural energetic flow. Okay? You you miss it. You miss your natural energetic flows using the word should and shouldn't. You allow yourself to follow the flow of society and the negative self-talk that runs through your mind by using those words. By allowing, you connect like how we did earlier. You get to sense on the inside where you feel. And then you gauge from there what's best for you to do now. And when you follow this pattern, you allow yourself to get more connected and synchronized within your spirit on when your highs and when your lows are throughout the day. Okay. So I have a friend, and her high and lows were directly the opposite of the United States. Her high, when she was awake, it was like she must have been in Japan somewhere, because she didn't wake up until like 11 o'clock at night, and she would be wide awake. Like you can go to her house 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it would be like you're there 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She's vacuuming, she's cooking, she's cleaning, she's doing everything. And middle of the day, if she's asleep. So if you were a judgmental person and you went to her house in the middle of the day, you might assume that she's just a lazy human being. But that just wasn't her flow. Her flow was different than here. And to conform that person to a flow that's here, like a 9 to 5. All right, well, you have to wake up early, do everything Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, was stressful, because now she's not working in sync with or in alignment with her body. And it creates those hiccups in your waves. You start to attract all the things you don't want, because now you're operating in a dynamic that's away from your actual natural being and your inner spirit. Now, what I've found And I received this from various coaches because after I had like a major accident, which I didn't talk about today, and I'm not going to get into right now. I had some memory issues, and between the accident, ascension, and things, I just know I had some challenges. So there was a guy I was following. His name's Jim Quick, and he taught some techniques. And one of the techniques I learned was about that morning routine. And I also learned from another man named Dan Martell. And like going through these frameworks and practicing them, like actually doing them, I found a huge difference in my life. Okay. And I want to share this with you. All right. Because what happens is when we want to replicate our energy consistently on a daily basis, so you want high vibe, write down what you want. So for me, I would like high vibes. Um, I want productivity. So we're going to do each subject matter, okay? I want love and connections with the people that I'm with, whether it's my friends, my family. I don't have a SO yet, but when he comes, we'll just, we'll have a little cardboard figure for him. And I want I want my health and my strength. I want no headaches, no bad energy, and I want fluidity for the things that I want in my life. So those are some of the things that I want. And you can jot down the things that you want, especially now if you're still feeling relaxed and connected, okay? And these are the outcomes that you want to focus on. All right. So I say outcomes meaning the end result, because to switch from the day-to-day mini task or the problems in our life, we have to learn to focus more on the end result, what it is that we actually want. Because when we focus on the minute things, we tend to go nowhere. And one of the stories, I remember like last year, I took my son to go rock climbing, and I took it for him, and I know I wanted to go because I wanted to at least try. And I'm scared of heights, all right, and I went rock climbing. And they went through this long training class, and then I had to climb. So I climbed all the way up. And I mean, it was high. It must have been at least 17 or 18 feet in the air. I went up high, but I didn't even think about it. I just was climbing all the way up to see if I can get to the end result. Get to the top. After I got to the top, I looked down and holy nuts. I looked down, my whole body, my hands, I'm actually starting to sweat now. My hands started to sweat. I started to feel nauseous. I thought I was getting ready to pass out. I was like, holy, I went through it. And then everybody was laughing at me. And I was like, the guy was like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm scared of heights. And he was like, what? And I was like, I don't know how to get down. And I'm like freaking out. And then I had to like kind of get it together. And I was like, there's two ways. There's only one way out of this situation, but there's two ways out. There's two ways to do this. You can either drop like a dummy and go boom and then be in pain and just have this whole embarrassing moment, or you can get yourself together and you go back down gracefully. And I decided to do the graceful thing and kind of getting, mind over matter, get myself together, hold on to the rope, not slip, and plop myself back down to the ground. And it was a learning experience. And the experience I got out of the whole thing was like, okay, what exactly did I do to get to the top without thinking about my big fear of heights? Because I have really had a serious fear of heights. Like, I don't even like standing in high rises or the ledges that are too high. Like, So how did I climb all the way up on a rope and didn't think about it? And I realized it was the whole idea of focusing on the outcome. The mindset I was in was, I just want to see if I can do it. I want to see if I can get to the top. I never once thought about the little thingies in the rocks. I never once thought about how high I'm going to go. I never once thought about that I might get tired, that I might get scared, that my hands might get tired of the rope. I didn't think about my weight. like looking at the videos back, I was like, holy nuts, because my kids, they have a sense of humor and they're like zooming in on places they shouldn't be zooming in on. And I didn't think about any of that. The only thing I focused on was that one thing. So I share this story with you because in your morning, I want you to focus on what it is you want to, the top three things. So write this down, the top three things you want to accomplish for the day. Okay. And we're going to start our morning with these simple techniques. Okay. Because when we tend to pick this magical thing up, or our laptops, or a newspaper, if the people still read newspaper, magazine, reading material, books. The point that I'm making is when you pick up information, however, whatever device or vehicle you choose to use, you automatically activate the amygdala in your brain, and you start to activate that. It does more, but what we're most known for is that whole fear of flight. You're also activating the hippocampus. So now you're looking for that adrenaline rush to make yourself feel better, make yourself feel better, make yourself feel better. And what happens when we're doing this is that we're starting off our morning that way by saying, I'm going to give away my power to this. And when we give our power away to that, as much as we give love and energy to that one thing, when it is giving us likes, when it's giving us positive feedback, we're feeling great. We're raising up. We're smiling. We're like, yeah, it's going good. But as soon as that thing shifts, it'll be like boom on us. And then you're like, ugh. By 2 o'clock noon, you're like, or by noon or by 2 p.m., you're like, oh man, I'm having a shitty day. I'm not feeling great. So what's happening is we're giving our power away to something else, and we're not aligning ourselves to our inner truth. And then we're going to go up and down like a roller coaster, like the stock market, because we're setting our intentions incorrectly from the start of our day. How we change this is by being proactive. So there's a couple things that I do in the morning, okay? And it helps me regulate and pay attention to my energy versus focused on something else. And there's a couple things that I do, and you might want to get a pen and paper and try these same things for yourself, okay? One is I drink a cup of water. I definitely do that. I like room temperature. It's up to you. But I've read different articles on things. But I drink a glass of water, and I do something that will exercise my spirit. So usually I meditate. So before I do too many things, like I might get up, go to the restroom or whatever. But the first couple minutes of the day, I lay back down in the bed and I connect to my inner being. And I do something like what we did earlier so I can feel the energy that moves through me. And I do that for like 5 to 15 minutes. So meditate. When you meditate, it allows you to connect with the energy around you. It allows you to see, you might have some thoughts in the morning, but usually first thing in the morning, if you haven't read anything, your mind's pretty clear. So it's easier for you to not think of anything. It's easier for you to be actually be present and to focus on your breath and to focus on how you ground. A lot of us ground through our feet and connect into the earth. And grounding is very important so that way you can, feel connected, protect your energy, because you're an energetic body, protecting your space and just doing it as a daily habit of aligning the energy within your system. A lot of folks like to ground either standing or with their feet on the ground. If you decide to lay in the bed and do it like I do, then you can visualize the energy, like the roots leaving your feet down around through the bed, down to the ground. You just use visualization to do that whole connectivity part. And see what you feel. Practice being mind, body, spirit aware. So you can feel the energy and the senses around you and feel what aligns with you, what feels like where you should go for the day, what you should do, what are the top 3 things you should do. 2 is now listening to something positive, whether it's you're practicing gratitude. Right now, I'm in a phase where if there's an aspect of my life, remember the subjects that we were talking about, English, math, social studies and science, or health and wellness, blah, 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 business and finance, family relationships. If there's an aspect in my life I feel that I need to work on so that way I can go from a B minus to a B plus, I listen to that. Okay. So if I'm working on my relationships with people, I listen to something where maybe it's on forgiveness or maybe it's on communicating better. I listen to like that while I'm getting ready, or I listen to that while I'm relaxing for those 10, 15 minutes. I do it either way. But the key is feeding myself with something positive and allowing my mind to embrace that information. And I do it along the lines of my outcome, what I want for the day. So I would recommend after you set your outcome, think about where you may feel a little weak at, and you study that. You listen to something like on YouTube for about 10 to 15 or 5 to 10 minutes on that. So you wake up a half hour earlier to get all this in. Because if you do it the regular time you're always waking up, you're going to feel set back by 8 o'clock, and then you're not going to do it the following day. So I'm very real about how learning a new habit kicks in. It's not easy. The first 30 days is hard, but if you can get past the first 30 days doing these things, you'll see a huge difference in your life. All right, step number 3. This is probably the hardest thing I have to do in the morning, but I think it's more important than even the meditation for me sometimes, because I actually need to move. It's easy for me to get stagnant. And when you're activating the male and the female energies within your body, and I want you to write that down too, the male energy is more dynamic. It takes action. It is decisive. It knows what to do. The feminine energy, it has a way of gathering and knows how to collect and knows how to show compassion and give love. So for these two to work integratively together, it needs energy to make things, to activate it. So the third thing I do in the morning is taking some form of movement, whether it's like a 10-minute cart. I don't do a lot because working out and we have like this on and off relationship, and it is what it is. But I do this, and I notice it helps me think clearly. So the standing up activates that male energy. Okay, it allows you to be decisive, take action, move. Okay, and actually put things into motion. So whether it's yoga, stretching, 10-minute cardio, tai chi, qigong, things like that, you just do like 5 to 10 minutes of that where you're activating your whole entire body. Okay, and watch how when you write your to-do list, how things are more direct. That act of standing activates your mind, your body, and your spirit, especially after doing those two things, especially after meditating and feeding yourself something positive. So meditate, you're doing something positive, and you do a flow of meditation or working out. And when you do this every morning, okay, then you can do, of course, your normal routine, your normal habits of, whether it's personal hygiene, preparing meal preps, or whatever the case may be. When you sit down to write down your to-do list for the day, your top 3 things, and then your other miniature things you want to get done. So that's step 4, writing down what you want to get done for the day. Watch how your mind, this is what happens. Instead of activating the fear-based thinking, we now have your male energy in charge. focusing you like me on that wall, okay, the rock climbing. It'll have you focusing more on your outcome and producing more in your day, okay? And you're and it happens because you're in alignment. You're one, connecting your spirit first by doing the meditation. Two, you're bringing in your heart and your mind by feeding yourself something positive. And then three, you're activating your physical because you're standing and you're doing something with motion, and you're putting your body into that. So you're integrating it. And this is like our spirit morning integration, okay? And this really sets the motion for a different outcome in your day. Okay. And if you can start mastering this on a regular basis, you will see a huge difference in your life. Bria just wrote, I need to meal prep. Yeah, I need to too. I used to do it every Sunday, like have things available in the fridge for me to grab. But my diet has changed quite a bit. So what I do now, and I used to think this was mundane. When I first heard, um, and I say this stuff so that way you guys can understand how I relate to when new ideas come, but drinking the same smoothie every single day. So but I've realized it's almost necessary to do it. So I make the same smoothie every single morning right now. I put the same exact ingredients every single day. And I realize my body needs this. It's like a car. Like you know how much gas needs to go in your car, you know how much oil needs to go in your car. It's the same with your body. It needs certain things every single day. And then occasionally you might want something else, but for the most part, it needs this as a foundation. So if you even make the same smoothie every morning before you head out, I think you'll find yourself having the clarity that you need. So the smoothie right now that I'm making, it has a lot of good stuff in there. Like it has blueberries for my mind, blueberries, strawberries, banana. Um, I'm not putting avocado in there right now. Flaxseed, hemp, coconut milk. I put a lot of stuff. Chai seed and water and honey. And those things are really doing something for me every single day. Like when I have that, one, I feel full, but then two, I feel clear, and whatever issues that might be presenting themselves during the season is starting to go away. It helps me. So another time I've used other things, but I like to use fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, whether it's avocados, ginger, honey, lemon, spinach, whatever. I put a lot of different things inside of that. And I think if you make a smoothie, it kind of helps the whole cooking all the time, especially if you, one, don't feel like doing it, and then two, you're looking for something easy. So one way to meal prep that is like maybe having certain cut things in certain bags and putting them in the freezer. That way all you have to do is just grab them and throw it inside the Ninja, and having that on a consistent basis. But I think if you do that after your morning routine, that's good. And from there, uh, we talked about the energy, but creating a block scheduling throughout that works with your energy. Okay, so the block scheduling that works with your energy. So how block scheduling will work is like if you're an entrepreneur like myself, so you have more freedom with your time, you can create how you want your day based on your energy. So you would have the block scheduling set out in like 2 to 3 hour increments. I say about two. That way you can take a break. So in between your increments, you take a break, okay? And you do the hardest tasks when you know you'll have your highest level of energy. So if you're an evening person and totally not a morning person, your morning routine might be the lighter things like your phone calls, to whatever, running errands, maybe you have a morning workout, an actual workout, not your 10-minute thing for the morning, but an actual workout. You might do some of that stuff then. And then you come back, you rest. And then because you're an evening person, your high energy might be 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the evening or in the afternoon, and that might be the time you're actually focused on creative writing or financial numbers, whatever you're working on. You focus that your harder energy things when you have your highest level of energy, so to speak, and you base it on your energy levels. Okay, so if you have certain constraints like a job and you have to be certain places at certain times, even when you're at your job, look at the tasks that you have for the day, and if you have that flexibility, schedule the harder things that are going to take more mental focus when you know you'll have your higher energy level. So if you start at like 12, say your shift is from 12 to 7, and you know you're going to need like heavy brain work stuff to do, but you're not going to have that energy until about 4 p.m. You might do your lighter tasks in the hospital or whatever from 12 to 3, take your break, and then come back and do your heavier task at 4. So the idea that I'm sharing here is to work within your energy so you're not working against it. The more we work against our flow, the more stress you create on your body, the more cigarette breaks you'll need, the more headaches you might have, the more drained you'll feel within like an hour of doing nothing. And you'll feel very far from your spirit because you're not working in your energetic frame within of how you're actually designed. You know what I mean? So it's important that regardless where you are, the type of field that you're working in, that you're honoring your body to the best capacity. Okay. And going, working that way, you'll see a difference. And every job is different. I'm not sure how flexible things are, but I say do this to the best of your ability. And if you have a family and with kids at home, same thing. You set a routine. And it might take a couple iterations to get to what works best. All right. It took me several. And every time things shift energetically out in the ether, I'm like, all right, I got to change it up again. And then I do. And then I don't stress myself about it. Like, be easy on yourself. Don't stress yourself on any changes. All right. Now, I want to open up for any questions because I covered quite a bit of information. And I hope that this is all helping you guys and you've taken some notes. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to open up for some questions, for some Q&A, because before I give some homework, because the homework will be to try this starting from today. Like, try waking up tomorrow and doing these 3 things, and then being attentive to how your energy is throughout the day. Like keep a little notepad or something and say, oh, you know what? I do get tired around. Like for me, I get tired at 2. That's my tired time. Around 2 o'clock, it doesn't matter what time I wake up in the morning. By 2 p.m., I just want to sleep. I am no good or no one for anybody. I might call people because I'm trying to like stay awake for what reason, but it's just, I shut down. And with the recent energy shifts, now I shut down at 5 p.m. I'm like, I was out today at 5 o'clock. I was like knocked out. And then I said, no, I gotta get out. But I would love to hear when you shut down. When do you raise? Like, what are your energy highs? When are your energy lows? So please comment. And how, if you have any, and how you notice things fluctuate for you, So does anyone have any questions for me? Questions, comments, feedback? So if you don't have any questions, tomorrow we're going to talk about some of the goal setting and then go over. I'm going to give you some. We'll talk more about letting go and allowing. That was a big thing for me in my spiritual journey. Oh, awesome. Good. I'm glad to hear that, Bria. Thank you. For me, it was allowing. I have pages and pages that said just allow. So I'm going to cover that as well as setting out our outcomes more. I want to look at things, get you to, we're going to go dive deep into what it is that we really want, what our spirit wants, so that we can find our purpose. Okay, and so it's going to be pretty good information. And as we connect, I'm going to close out by connecting with our heart spaces once again and just honoring who we are as a sovereign being and just thanking the divinity within us for being present and allowing that light to shine through us and to be present and connecting with that and loving this space and loving who we are, because without the breath that we have, we wouldn't allow our light to shine. And our purpose here is greater just by being who we are, being present in our now, and allowing love to come through us, come to us, come from us in a way that can just send love, healing, and light to anyone that's here. All right. And I want you to feel relaxed and take this energy with you. And good night. Thank you all for coming. Anyone who watches the replay, please also comment. I look forward to hearing your comments. I will definitely be replying. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I look forward, can't wait to hear your comments on how you practice your morning routine tomorrow. And I will see you again the next time.